Hello everyone. Then I will evaluate the noise in detail in this video. This spinning top also talks about other similar designs of noise. First of all, let's talk about the noise product series. In order of time to launch, the first is the original version called Noise Classic, abbreviation. Noise C was first published in February 2018. Then there is Noise Atom, which was first released in April 2018. Then there is the Noise Slim, which was first released in August 2008. Then there was Noise E, which was first released in January 2009. And then the Noise Nano was first released in September 2019. Finally, there's the Noise Nano. It was first released in September 2021 and then released at the same time. There is also a Noise Scepter, which is adapted to the Noise Nano. So this year, Lao Lijiang has not yet announced a new noise design. So I don't know if there will be a new design for this series. Then what I have in my hand is now only Noise C, Noise Nano and Noise Nano. So let me focus on what is the difference between these three. First of all, Noise C, I have already talked about it in PE. So here, let me talk about the feelings of Panwen in detail. The first impression of this roller is that it is very solid. It is heavy in the hand. It is also very stable to turn. You can take a closer look at the details. Although it looks like it is one, it has a cutout design in the middle. In this way, the rotational torque of the outer ring will be smaller. Let it turn more steadily. The factory surface treatment of the secondary pin steel is old, so you can still vaguely see some traces of aging. The middle is black, and the luster of stainless steel. It is very suitable for this kind of done-to-do treatment, which can give it a sense of shadow. Just add shadows to the object you draw. It instantly felt three-dimensional. In the same way, the effect of doing this makes the noise denser. Because its torque is relatively short, therefore it is not easy to stand on the fingers when it is turned. This action is not so easy to do. It takes a lot of care to keep it steady. It is advisable not to play like this without a mist protection. However, its rotating feel is still very good. All its edges and corners are smoothly ground. There will be no feeling of a thug. What about the nest? You don't need to worry about it. There are power points everywhere. You can see that there is a depression in the middle of each leaf. These are all positions where the force is generated. Since they use 6,703 bearings, so the friction will be greater when turning. There will be a crispy and numb feeling. I can't describe this, you can feel it yourself. Because the torque is relatively short, therefore it is not easy to produce the phenomenon of death flipping. You can also see that. I'll do it again. He won't stop either. Of course, I also talked about some shortcomings in PE. The first one is too heavy, and the other is that it is easy to hide dirt and it is difficult to get enough. There is another one I forgot to mention, that is, the rotation time is relatively short. It only lasted about a minute. If you care about turning time, you need to pay attention to this. Of course, in fact, this spinning top is mainly used for desktop play. So the official is paired with a walnut base. It can be perfectly adapted to afforestation, so its main gameplay is to put it on the table. This base building is also very textured. You can take a look. There is an iron plate on the back of it, and some iron nails to make the counterweight as a whole. It is still a very design-oriented thing. Next, let's talk about Noise Nano. Then this one is Noise Nano. Noise Nano is a smaller version of Noise E. The Noise Wing is a split design. You say it's a structure of two halves. What about the Noise Wings? It turns this window tube in the middle into a bead. That is to say, Noise Nano does not want to simply make a mini product. Or do you want to do some innovation? Noise Nano is one of my favorites. I feel like it's all the Noise series at the moment. The most balanced one in all aspects. First of all, the weight is very appropriate, even the heaviest. The copper is only 110 grams, and the titanium alloy is only 62 grams, which is very suitable for carrying around. Later, a PC version was released which was only 35 grams. I added 4 cylinderless beads to this weight. If it is a luminous bead, the weight will be a little lighter. Then it's a play feel because it's smaller, so it will be easier to turn. When it fluctuates, it won't be like a loud noise, so the effort only needs to fluctuate slightly. And because it uses our 188 axis, the sound is quieter. The feel is more delicate. There will be no loud noise. What about that crisp and numb feel? Silky smooth. In addition, the advantage of 2188 bearings is that they can rotate longer. With your bearing smooth, it can be turned for at least 2 minutes. Another point is that there will be more DIY gameplay of Noise 1 Nano, because there are many types of beads. You can match it as you like. Different colors, different weights. Different materials can be matched to create a different feeling. Moreover, because the beads and grass it reserves are not tightly stitched, there are some gaps, so you can listen to it. When you turn, you can hear the sound of beads colliding. The sound is very nice. However, this 1 Nano also has its drawbacks. This disadvantage is that it is too small. Although small is its advantage, but at the same time it is also its disadvantage. You can see that it is a relatively rounded gyroscope as a whole, so it will be a bit easier to say. The risk of dropping is that it's not easy to hold. So the chain maker has launched another base. It's just that this time it's a triple base, so what about this triple base? You can put 3 spinning tops at once. Then you should know why I am. Will you buy so much noise and a Nano? It's because of obsessive-compulsive disorder. You really can't stand other positions being empty, right? Always want to fill it up. So, I really love and hate this triad. This top of the Noise C kind of top, I think it will be more monotonous. It's a scaled-down version of the Loud Noise. You can take a look, it is basically exactly the same as Loud Noise. It's just that the size is slightly smaller. The old blacksmith must also know that its response will not be particularly good. Otherwise, it will not be delayed until 3 years later. There should be many fans who have this need. And he also wants to make this series more complete, so he did it. I have 2 pieces of rust patching steel in my hand. One is old, one is sprayed. Before that, I also had a brass one, but it threw me and I sold it. Thin rust steel is exactly the same as Loud Noise. In addition to the difference in shaft formation, there is no difference. The same version of the lock will be different. He made a split design. The future is to add some DIY possibilities. Although it is said that the Noise Nano has no bright spots. But there is a surprise in this version. This thing is a scepter. It can adapt to all nano noises, turning the top into a hammer. Use your thumb to pulsate. I'll put it on for everyone to see. As you can see, now it has become a spinning top like a hammer. You can use your finger to pluck the spinning top to play. This is also a very interesting way to play. What about this scepter? I think it's a surprise and a highlight of this version. It has done a lot of interesting designs. It is a split structure. Is a modular design which is divided into a main body, a pair of locks and an extension. 3 parts, its 3 parts can be removed. The extension rod can be plugged in. The lock can also be removed. At the same time, this lock can also be opened with a shaft opener. Here is one that has 4 eyes to match. Then open this as well. In this way, it actually increases a lot of DIY possibilities. If the official released some new accessories, you can replace them to create a variety of different colors. This is a very interesting way to play. When I removed the ring, it became another lock. This pair of locks can be adapted to some other tops. For example, this top can be put on it. You can see that if you look like this, my other top, as long as it is a gyroscope with our 188 bearings, it can basically be put up like this. I am here because there is a restless lock which is just right to adapt. So you can install it. However, I still hope that the old body image can produce its own accessories. Since it's called a scepter, you can actually come up with a counterpart called the crown, right? You can see that this restless opponent is also a bit like the crown, right? So finally, let me talk about the difference between these materials of Dirty Fish Nano, right? As far as my personal feeling is concerned, I think first of all, copper will weigh a little more. But the fun of playing will be a little more. Isn't it just a little dull? I personally don't like it very much, so I didn't buy it either. And then the PC is very suitable for playing with beads. The effect of taking pictures at night will be very, very good. But after this filming, it was boring. So I still prefer to add some heavier beads. For example, I added black steel balls to this. I feel that this feel is very, very bad. I think the most suitable one to take out is this version of titanium alloy. This weight is relatively moderate, and it feels very good. It does a surface for an internship. This surface is not easy to slip, so it is more suitable to take it out. Then the high alloy version is responsible for the appearance, very beautiful and very good looking. It is a very good looking board on the table. So each one here has its own characteristics. I can't let go of each one. So which of these spinning tops is your favorite? Feel free to tell me in the comment area or in the barrage. Okay, then that's all for this video. If you like this video, please be sure to give me a one-click triple. I want to be grateful. Okay, then I am Joanne. See you next time, EDC.